What the 80s got right about 2025. The 1980s promised us flying cars, hoverboards, and robot butlers by 2025. We got none of those. But what if I told you the 80s actually nailed some of the most important predictions about our world today, just not the flashy ones everyone remembers? While we mocked them for failed flying car promises, Reagan-era futurists quietly predicted corporate surveillance, digital addiction, and cashless societies with startling accuracy. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're giving credit where it's due and examining what 1980s futurists got surprisingly right about 2025. Forget the flying cars and robot maids. The 80s understood the social and psychological implications of technology better than any decade before or since. From Blade Runner's corporate dominance to Back to the Future's video calls, from Max Headroom's AI-generated media to War Games' networked world, the 1980s painted a remarkably accurate picture of our digital present. They just wrapped it in neon and synthesizers. The 1980s were obsessed with portable communication. Dick Tracy's wrist radio, Back to the Future the Coos video calls, and countless sci-fi movies showing people talking to screens wherever they went. They imagined a world where you could instantly communicate with anyone, anywhere, at any time. Sound familiar? We carry smartphones that do exactly what 80s futurists predicted, just in a different form factor. They imagined video phones and advanced walkie-talkies. We got touchscreen computers that happen to make calls. The 80s understood that communication technology would become personal, portable, and ubiquitous. They just got the interface slightly wrong. Back to the Future 2 showed Marty McFly being fired via video call in 2015. In 2025, people get fired via Zoom, laid off through Teams meetings, and receive breakup texts. The 80s predicted that future communication would be instant, but also potentially cold and impersonal. But here's what the 80s really nailed. They predicted that constant communication would become addictive and socially destructive. Films like They Live showed people hypnotized by screens, consuming media that controlled their thoughts and behavior. The 80s envisioned a future where people would be glued to their communication devices, unable to disconnect from the constant stream of information. They showed families sitting together, but interacting with screens instead of each other. They predicted that communication technology would connect us globally while isolating us locally. Movies like Videodrome explored the idea that media consumption would become so immersive it would blur the line between reality and simulation. Social media algorithms that create personalized reality bubbles. David Cronenberg saw it coming in 1983. Back to the Future 2 showed Marty's future home with multiple TV screens showing different channels simultaneously. In 2025, we have multiple browser tabs, split-screen streaming, and smartphone notifications constantly dividing our attention across different information streams. The 80s predicted the end of shared cultural experiences as media became personalized and fragmented. They saw a future where everyone would have access to unlimited entertainment options, but struggle to find common ground with others consuming different content. They also predicted that this media abundance would create anxiety and decision paralysis. The 80s term channel surfing described the restless search for something worth watching among endless options. Today, we call it doom scrolling, but it's the same psychological phenomenon the 80s identified 4 decades ago. The 1980s dystopian fiction got surveillance exactly right. 1984 wasn't written in the 80s, but it was widely read and adapted during that decade. Films like Brazil and RoboCop showed worlds where cameras monitored every public space and corporations collected massive amounts of personal data. In 2025, we have facial recognition systems in stores, traffic cameras on every corner, and smart doorbells recording our neighborhoods. The 80s predicted that surveillance would be sold as safety and convenience, exactly how we justified giving up privacy for security and personalized services. Terry Gilliam's Brazil specifically predicted that bureaucratic systems powered by computers would become nightmarishly complex and invasive, creating digital paper trails that could destroy individual lives. Credit scores, algorithmic hiring systems, and social media background checks are exactly what Brazil warned us about. The TV show, Max Headroom, predicted AI-generated media with uncanny accuracy. The show featured a computer-generated TV host and explored how artificial personalities could be created to influence audiences. In 2025, we have AI-generated influencers, deepfake videos, and algorithm-created content. But Max Headroom went deeper. It predicted that AI-generated media would be used by corporations to manipulate consumer behavior and political opinions. The show explored how artificial personalities could be more appealing and controllable than human ones. Virtual influencers like Lil McKellar and AI-generated news anchors proved the 80s saw this coming. The show also predicted that media corporations would use technology to create addictive content designed to keep viewers watching. The blipverts in Max Headroom's super-condensed advertisements are basically what we call short-form content and micro-targeted ads today. 80s cyberpunk literature, especially William Gibson's Neuromancer, predicted that corporations would become more powerful than governments by controlling information flow. They envisioned a world where tech companies would shape reality by controlling what people see and know. In 2025, Google controls what information billions of people access through search results. Facebook and TikTok control social interactions and news consumption for massive global audiences. Amazon controls commerce infrastructure. These companies have exactly the kind of power over daily life that 80s cyberpunk predicted. The 80s also predicted that this corporate control would be subtle and voluntary. People would give up autonomy in exchange for convenience. We handed our personal data to tech companies for free email, social networking, and personalized recommendations, exactly as 80s fiction suggested we would. Terry Gilliam's Brazil showed how digital systems could make bureaucracy more oppressive, not more efficient. The film predicted that computer systems would create new forms of administrative hell, where algorithmic decisions would be impossible to appeal or understand. In 2025, we struggle with automated customer service systems, algorithmic content moderation, and AI hiring tools that make decisions without explanation. Getting suspended from social media, rejected by automated loan systems, or flagged by fraud detection algorithms creates exactly the kind of Kafkaesque digital bureaucracy that Brazil predicted. The 1980s predicted the end of physical money with remarkable accuracy. Films showed people using cards and electronic transfers for all transactions. They envisioned a world where every purchase would be tracked and recorded digitally. By 2025, cash is nearly extinct in many places. We use credit cards, digital wallets, and payment apps for everything, from coffee to parking meters. The 80s predicted this would create both convenience and control. Companies and governments could track every purchase, creating detailed profiles of individual behavior. The 80s also predicted that digital payments would enable new forms of economic control. They showed worlds where people could be instantly cut off from the economic system by having their electronic accounts frozen. Social credit systems and payment platform bans demonstrate exactly this kind of financial control through technology. Early 1980s computer culture predicted that work would become location-independent and service-based rather than manufacturing-based. Personal computer magazines showed people working from home, communicating with colleagues through computer networks and providing services to clients they never met in person. The 1982 film Tron depicted a world where people's careers existed primarily in digital space. While we don't literally live inside computers, many people's professional lives exist primarily through screens, emails, video calls, and cloud-based collaboration tools. The 80s also predicted that the economy would shift from making physical things to providing digital services and experiences. The rise of the app economy, social media influencers, and digital content creators represents exactly this kind of economic transformation. The 1983 film War Games predicted that computer networks would control critical infrastructure, and that this interconnectedness would create new vulnerabilities. The movie showed how a teenager could accidentally access military systems through network connections. In 2025, everything from power grids to water systems to transportation networks is controlled by interconnected computer systems. Ransomware attacks on hospitals, pipeline shutdowns, and power grid vulnerabilities demonstrate exactly the kind of systemic risks that War Games identified. The film also predicted that the line between games and reality would blur in dangerous ways. Social media manipulation, gamified apps, and the treating of serious issues like entertainment all reflect the War Games' insight that digital interactions can have real-world consequences. The 80s depicted underground hacker culture as a source of innovation and entrepreneurship that would eventually go mainstream. Films like Real Genius and Weird Science showed smart, rebellious kids using technology to solve problems and create new possibilities. By 2025, many of the biggest tech companies were founded by people who started as hackers or computer enthusiasts. The 80s predicted that the basement computer tinkerers and garage entrepreneurs would eventually reshape the entire economy, and they were absolutely right. So what did the 80s get right about 2025? Almost everything that mattered. They predicted corporate surveillance disguised as convenience. They foresaw digital addiction and information overload. They understood that cashless societies would enable new forms of control. They saw that communication technology would connect us globally while isolating us locally. The 80s didn't get the aesthetics right. We don't have neon everywhere or robot butlers. But they understood the social and psychological implications of technology better than any decade before or since. They saw that the same technologies that promised liberation would also enable new forms of oppression. Most importantly, the 80s understood that technology is not neutral. They predicted that digital tools would amplify existing power structures rather than eliminate them. Corporate power, government surveillance, and social manipulation would all be enhanced by technology, not reduced by it. The 80s gave us a choice. We could use technology to create more freedom and equality, or we could let it create more control and division. Looking at 2025, it's clear which path we chose. The 80s saw it coming and tried to warn us. We just thought they were making entertainment.